I always try to think back about films I saw, horror films, I saw when I was young. I don't know why, but not many like scared me. I always had that separation. Like, this is a movie, it's not real. None of this is real. I'm just enjoying it for what it is. And one of the first that I saw was Romero's Night of the Living Dead. And I think that really sort of cemented in my mind, what I wanted to do kind of when I grow up, even though I didn't initially go that way. It was like, I love this kind of thing. I want to explore this further, But films that I found actually kind of scary, I think that Nightmare on Elm Street was one of them that I thought I can recognize that this is scary.
Yeah, the original.
Maybe not on the same level as The Exorcist. The Exorcist may have been more, scarier, probably.
I'd say Freddy, man, because everybody has a fear and everybody has to sleep.
Yeah, but for me, it was like, what is closer to maybe potentially having, actually the potential of being real. And The Exorcist, kind of got me thinking, yeah, why not? These things could exist. You know what I mean? With Freddy, I had this detachment going, I know that there's no Freddy, there's no such thing. And as far as what I think anyway, but the closer it is to being something that is potentially real, the scarier it was. And, even though I still had that separation, I still found The Exorcist, I could recognize that it's scary. Like Child's Play to me was not scary at all. It was more comedy, I think. When I watched it, I
you
laughed.
mean to tell me
didn't get
the
scared.
scene where he's walking around talking, and then she just opens the back of him, and he turns around at a 90-degree angle. He's like, "Hi, I'm Chucky. Want to play?" You mean to tell me if you're talking to a doll that has no batteries, and he turns around?
Yeah,
I mean, I knew I was watching a movie. Like I said, it's a movie, and it wasn't real.
Conversation with him and didn't scare him.
Nah, and I don't do jump scares well as well. It's like because I anticipate them a little bit. Like I'd be sitting there with people watching a movie, and then a jump scare comes on, and everybody's like, and I'd be like,
I saw that coming.
I knew that.
That's my reaction to a jump scare. And that's why films that rely on jump scares have no effect on me, because it's like, that's just bad writing. So to me, it's more about
was really good.
Time the fuck out on this one here, man. Bad writing. Seriously, there's
jump scares.
There's nothing
if
more.
If a film relies on jump scares,
well, but not relies on them, but it has a handful of them. I mean, shit. There's that's some of the fun parts of horror movies or scary movies is to get the shit scared out of you, to have you come up off your and shit goes flying.
I see what Itai is saying.
No, I
did say relies on
the jump scares. Itai is saying is a cheap attempt. If you do something very different, like for instance, Sinister. I love Sinister. The scene where Ethan Hawke was talking on the phone, and this for the very first time, that picture that was on his computer screen just goes, and he's looking at him, and then it goes back down like that. That was subtle, but it was so effective. I felt that.
Does that constitute a jump scare to you guys? Something like that?
I don't think it is, because they didn't play any music.
Not a jump scare.
Yeah, because I love that. I love that kind of thing when it's done well. I mean, I like jump scares when they're done well.
A jump scare to me is like, who is that? And then they go, and then somebody jumps out of the bush, and it's Josh, not Jason. That to me is like a jump scare. It happens in every Friday the 13th. It happens in every Halloween.
When the shark comes up out of the water, the shark comes up out of the water when he's like, "Come on down and chum some of this shit," and then the shark comes out of the water, or the head coming out of the bottom of the boat. Those are both like stupid jump scares, and I don't see the lazy writing in that, but that's just me.
I didn't say every jump scare No, but I didn't say every jump scare is lazy.
Oh, but you implied you said
No, I didn't. I said films that rely on jump scares. I don't think Jaws relies on the jump scares.
Well, okay, but you said jump scares are lazy writing.
Okay,
No, I said films that rely on jump scares. That's lazy writing to me. It's like
I think the perfect scenario to the back of Ty's argument is The Nun.
That's one of them. That's one that comes to mind. Yeah, I agree. It's just full of tropes and gimmicks, and there's no real, story that is not cliche there. You know what I mean?
Right.
There are a lot of people that use jump scares well. I'm not saying a jump scare in general is a bad thing. Well, it's just the way that it's been used.
When you
No, I didn't. I said no, I didn't, Todd. I said films that rely on jump scares. I specifically said that, didn't I, Chase?
Yes,
I mean, you can check the recording.
Yeah, no, I
no, rewind it.
Me being outside.
Let's go to the tape. Let's go to the tape. Let's go to the footage, man.
Okay.
No, Todd, he's right. He never said all films, but he said films that rely on it. It is the distinction there that I see what Itai is saying. A good horror movie should not have to rely on cheap jump scares to scare your audience. And that's why some of the greatest horror movies out there that we talk about, that we all admire and love, never really had to rely on this.
And Todd, you and I, we share a dislike, I think, to so many horror films being made on the same subgenre. For example, slasher. Right. There have been so many of them. Right. Slasher films specifically are very, very, a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them rely on jump scares. And the films that come out today, they even copy the same jump scares. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, it's so
I'll give you that.
Cliche, and that's why I anticipate them before they come. I think that when I watched, say, use the example of Jaws, and I think it's a good one because I saw that when I was younger. I wasn't yet, as trained, I guess. No, but in film viewing, you do become more desensitized. And I don't even know if I recognized them as jump scares at the time, but they did affect, you know what I mean? Like you watch the film, you go, oh yeah, that's good, Right. When you don't, it's basically something that you didn't expect catches you off guard. That's really what jump scares are about. But when they become so cliche, especially with films made, later and later, it loses the effect. And I watch them today and I just think that is lazy writing. They just copy what, other films have done in the past, and they don't come up with a new, interesting way of using a jump scare. Right. A lot of giallo films did jump scares really well, and they were also more subtle. But they made you respond, those sort of Italian, filmmakers that made all this stuff. It was just stuff that would freak you out.
Speaking of jump scares, what the hell is that in your background, Itai? On the bottom left, yeah. It's like a face. It's a mask. What?
See? Yeah. I still try to work that out myself. I've thrown it out to people many times. It's to me.
It's just because we were just talking about jump scares, and I just looked down, and I'm like, "Holy shit, what is that?"
It's always there with me. I'll tell you the story behind this one is I actually bought this for the comedy show that I made because it matched the back of it matches the hair of one of my actors. Nice. And I needed to shoot sort of an over the shoulder without him being there. I'm not going to say why because maybe it's a spoiler, but I needed to shoot the back of his head without him being there. And this one, the hair perfectly matched him.
Perfect. So we actually it looked like Donald Trump if he was a Skrull from Marvel.
The funny thing about it,
that's funny you say that because I thought the same thing.
I think it's from. Is that better? You get a better look.
There you go.
I think it's from like a 70s sort of folk horror type of thing, maybe a European one. But
pretty cool.
I couldn't work it out.
Because I didn't see that the whole entire time when we were talking about jump scares. I happened just to see the corner of it. And I'm like, what the fuck is that?
And he's just been sneaking into frame. Boo. And you know, we talk about jump scares. The films that I didn't like the jump scares in, even though I like the film, is something like Scream. You know, the first one. After that, they became all a bit samey to me. But in Scream, there's quite a few jump scares that I thought were borderline juvenile. You know, it's like they came out of a high school film kind of thing, you know, where the guys are pranksters and trying to scare the girls. That's what that whole thing felt like. Yeah, well, like I said, I like the film. It's in spite of
high school, so
yeah. No, but you know what I mean. It's just
saying, you know.
No, but I'm saying it felt like those types of things outside of horror, you know, like in high school comedies or whatever, you know, those types of
I see characters. What you're saying. They were kind of cheap for what they were going for.
Yeah, but the film itself I do like because of the premise is interesting.
Scream. The first Scream was the movie where I was like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
I was so obsessed with the ghost face cop. I used to wear that every time I watched the movie. So obsessed with Scream.
I gotta say though, like with your films, Chase, it's like I think that on social media, you're kind of treated like as a sort of a horror filmmaker, but most of your films are not horror films.
Yeah, I love horror movies, but again, that's why I have so much respect for you and Todd as filmmakers, is that you two really are outside the box. You don't do the norm of what a lot of people are doing. And again, there's nothing wrong with, because everybody makes the movies that they want to make, and I respect that. But for me, I really am glad that I can look and see that I did an interracial love drama, Peyton's Burden, and then I did a psychological thriller, Marvelous Mandy, and then I did a crime drama for Payday, and then I did a sci-fi horror for Beast, and then I did I wouldn't even know what the category I locked in.
Sci-fi? No, Beast is not sci-fi. Beast is like
it was
an adventure thriller.
Yeah, it was a thriller, but Beast, it was kind of marketed as. But yeah.
No, I love the concept. I think of Beast. There's some subtle, like interesting things there.
The most annoying thing about Beast, the film for me is, I wouldn't say annoying because that's a wrong word, because I don't want people to misconstrue what I mean. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people don't get the ending, and I think
but that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing, because it means that there's some complexity to the film that a lot of people might not get, right off the bat or at all.
Right.
You've seen my short Ivy. A lot of people don't get it or parts of it.
I love Ivy and Dolphin.
Well, Dolphin is a bit more straightforward, but with Ivy, people don't, a lot of people don't quite get certain elements of it, and that's not a bad thing. I think that's actually the sign of a more complex script. Sometimes when people don't get something, that's not a bad thing at all.
A lot of people are leaving like a lot of, like a lot of nasty reviews, and it comes with the territory. But
I don't mind those, I have to say. Todd, you'd know all about that as well. There are people out there who just want to crap all over your work, whether they've seen it or not, for one.
Exactly.
Some who write reviews and have seen it. Some of them just do it because it makes them feel superior, makes them feel good about themselves to crap on somebody else's work. But to me personally, I love it. Come on, shit on my work. I don't care. I actually prefer it that some people don't like my films and some people do. It just makes it feel more real to me. If everybody liked it, I would feel like something.
Everybody jumped up and down.
Yeah, nobody likes everything. It's like there's no one thing that everybody likes. Somebody would have to not like.
But I like that I can look back and I realize that I took chances on trying new things. And even A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It's very different from anything that I've done. And I really like that. I feel like it keeps it fresh. And that's one thing I love about doing thrillers. I feel like there's so many type of thrillers you can do.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like that it kind of bends to where you can kind of make multiple genres in one. And because I'm not just one thing, you know what I mean? I would love to take a stab at comedy, and I was shooting a gnat away. I wasn't going crazy. I really would like to do like a dark comedy. Because I realized I did it, and I'm like, they probably.
I didn't even notice.
What was that?
But I've always wanted to do like a dark comedy, kind of like a Kevin Smith style or Ben Stiller Cable Guy. I really wanted to do something where it's something that everybody can relate to that they've experienced. I love Cable Guy. Such a very underappreciated, underrated movie. One of my favorite Jim Carrey movies.
Yeah, same.
So great movie. I want to do something
like that.
The thing is
with comedy, like comedy is just the toughest to.
It is, and especially now where people don't want to rock the boat.
And not only that, say you get a script written, or by someone else, by yourself, or whatever. You have a script finished, and you go into production. It's a little bit similar to horror, but getting the timing right is difficult. And a lot of people will miss the jokes if it's not well timed. So you got to get it from your actors, and you got to get it from your editing. And it's a whole other science, in a way. To me, comedy is the toughest of the lot of them.
I think I would have to agree. And I think if I ever did do a comedy, it would probably be my last film.
After that, I'm not doing this again.
Never again. Yeah, comedy is rough, man. That's we had a conversation about that at Itai and I did on our Sharky's Machine episode, and it was the whole comedy thing. I mean, I have 3 pretty damn funny movies that I would like to do, but it's just
You look like a Clerks kind of guy.
It's scarier to try and even think about making a comedy than it is to make anything else, because
that's why I really wanted to do something like Cable Guy, where Cable Guy was a comedy. If Jim Carrey did not play that movie, I don't think it would have worked with anyone else.
Oh, it would have been a horror film. A thriller, at least, it's almost like a stalker thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the part where his cable wasn't working, and as soon as he dialed Jim Carrey's number, the door just and
that whole peephole scene.
Yeah,
when he's,
yeah.
Oh, and he looks.
That's one of my favorite parts.
He looks at the phone, and then he looks at Jim Carrey, and Jim Carrey's just hi. You gotta love Jim Carrey.
Todd, you actually took a stab at comedy with some of the shorts, yeah? Santa's Lap, which Santa's I really liked.
Yeah, that was actually kind of conceptually done by myself and Jaden. In fact, Jaden actually came up with the idea for it a long time ago. I mean, I'm talking like 2006, 2007, and he came up with the idea. Wow. And
15 years ago,
yeah, and it took us that long to get it done. But yeah, I mean, Santa's Lap is good. I guess I can't cry too much. The timing on that is good. You laugh where you're supposed to.
Yeah. The production value, everything. But again, being a short and thinking about making, like, you've made a short comedy. The even the thought of making a comedy feature is a little bit daunting. It's like, I have to do this for how long?
The closest I got to a comedy is Beast of the Field. I thought Gregory Blair and Savannah Schaefer, I felt that them two, their delivery. And Amber was pretty funny, but I had to say Gregory Blair just because of the awkwardness of his character and his facial expressions and how he reacted. And I thought Savannah Schaefer had some really good one-liners that was pretty funny. Like when she told Big B, she said, like, "What are you, Big Ben?" I mean, she said a lot of things that was pretty funny in that movie. And it definitely came off more of almost a horror comedy.
Yeah, it has that I think in the beginning, and then it just kind of goes off into this like thriller, darker territory, and it stays there. It doesn't go back to the comedy.
No,
which I kind of like.
Yeah.
It has to be consistent, because that's one of the main complaints I'm seeing with the new Thor: Love and Thunder. A lot of people are saying that Taika Waititi did way too goofiness to the movie, and some of the really amazing scenes that Christian Bale did as Gore the God Butcher kind of got watered down because of the pacing.
Yeah, I saw somebody talking about
today. Yeah, if you mess with the formula, your fans are going to come out and try to butcher you. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I think Marvel tried. I mean, I love Marvel. I love Marvel movies, but just lately they've been trying to be a little too goofy with their movies, and it doesn't work for every movie. That's why I did like Doctor Strange into the multiverse. Yeah, not everything needs to be goofy in a joke. I mean, some movies, because I like dark movies anyway. So I love dark movies. One of the best movies I still to this day talk about, one of my favorites that I've seen, is Gone Girl. David Fincher's Gone Girl. I love that movie. So good.
Yeah. I agree on David Fincher, but I would say 7.
7 is really, really good, but I like Gone Girl is because I can relate to someone like that I dated.
You should read the book. It's better than the film.
I mean, I've heard that.
As always.
Yeah.
The books are always better.
So with Good Girls Guide to Murder, is that the title?
Yes, sir.
Where do you see that sort of sitting genre-wise? Like more thriller or horror, or
it's more of a drama with the element of thriller into it, but it's mostly drama. And it's really focusing on the trauma of sexual abuse, but not just anywhere. It's like right in her home, and it's by her father. And it's such a heavy subject, and it shows how such an innocent girl gets broken through what she's going through, and she feels that there's no escape to what she's going through, and her only way that she feels out is by doing that. So it's a film that's not justifying those actions, but you can relate and understand to it.
What's the character's age?
17.
Okay.
And that's
a touchy one, like.
It is, and we realize it's quite risky, but the one thing I can say about Charlie Brady that I really loved, that we both were on the same page about, was leading things subtle and implied rather than go in and you don't see none of it. You read it, you really would think this is it's definitely going to be Lifetime approachable, where there's things that are subtle, there's implied, what's going on, but you don't see none of that.
Actually, I have someone I have someone you can talk to about that kind of film. The guy currently below me on my screen, because it's not very similar, but it's somewhere along the lines of silence.
I'm sorry, I thought you said a guy blowing me on the screen.
Yeah, can you? I should have had the head here and just bring it up. The guy blowing me right now, he can give you some advice about your film. That's funny. That is hilarious.
Hey, Todd, did that not sound like what he said?
Dude, you know what? Once you said that, I went, yeah, that's kind of what he said. Like he said.
Because this would have been like, okay, so you can ask him now.
Yeah, ask him now.
Yeah, what do you want to know? What do you want to know?
Hey, hi, Sam. Sam's here.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
She's
But before what we will now refer to as the blowing incident, I was trying to say that you should probably talk to Todd, because Silence that Todd made is somewhere along those lines. It's more drama. Actually, it's drama, not thriller, but it's about similar topics and about the effect on a young woman. And
this is probably the most drama like for a film that I've ever done. Like, it's kind of like it really has almost the same tone as Gone Girl, where Gone Girl's mostly a drama. It does have some elements of thriller in there, but I would say it's more of a drama than anything.
Well, yeah, and that's what we did with Silence too.
I would like to see what Itai's about to say, because he looks like he disagreed.
Go ahead.
Oh no, with Gone Girl, to me, it's more thriller, but because it's a little bit Fatal Attraction kind of, where one of the people involved is not who they were previously thought to be, and then they try to do all these things. It's like there is definitely a lot of drama there, but I think it's more a thriller in my mind.
Fatal Attraction, I would have to disagree with, because she did everything that she did because he wasn't who he said he was, and she was willing to do all of that to the great. It's like when she said, "I killed for you." Who else can say that? She did all of that to trap him. So yeah, but she's the one who overreacted and went psycho and all the rest of it. I don't. Did she go psycho? Because I felt like she was very much in her mind.
So to you, Glenn Close is the hero.
Lost her. He was a shitty husband, and he milked her dry.
I'm not disputing that he had a lot to do with what happened to her.
The only thing that I can say that she really did wrong in that whole entire movie, honestly, was when she killed the one guy. So the rabbit was fine. No, we're not talking about Fatal Attraction. We're talking about Gone Girl. The Fatal Attraction chick, she was nuts. That's what I'm trying to tell. I'm showing you a difference between her and Rosamund Pike, because Rosamund Pike, I'm not saying that in her mind. I felt that that's someone I don't want to make. I don't want to make angry.
I was just talking about the drama thriller aspect, not the same story. I'm not saying that the stories are similar. Yeah.
See, I feel bad for Itai. We both are misunderstanding him, and he's still calm. Like, no, I'm not saying this, guys. Listen to me. You're all not listening to me. You guys are. I'm
Shut
always
up
saying.
And listen.
I gotta fix him.
He started to sound like the guy on Armageddon. I told you, touch nothing.
Oh, Peter Stormare, you mean, playing the Russian? Don't get me started on that one. I love Peter Stormare, but his accent was terrible.
Yeah, I know
it did not sound Russian.
This is Russian space station.
It's funny, but actors do that, whenever they have to play a Russian, like John Malkovich in Rounders. They always do this thing with their mouth. Straight away they become Robert De Niro if they have to do a Russian accent for some reason.
Rob De Niro, man, I love me.
De Niro has that face all the time,
Yeah, he does. He always looks high. So,
but back to the Good Girls Guide to Murder and Silence. There are a few sort of correlations, between those stories and the young girl and what happens to her. It's different. I think it's a bit darker maybe in Good Girls Guide to Murder, because it's her father. It's a bit different.
It's definitely darker. Silence is dark. Silence is dark, but it's not, there's a whole nother level to what Chase is doing. I mean, so yeah, I mean, having and somebody out there is gonna, and somebody out there is gonna like give me a ration of shit, but a woman that is raped versus a young girl who is being molested by her father. I mean, yes, it's one in the same book, but they're in my book, for a film, they're
I
on
agree.
different levels. You're going.
It's two different psychological aspects. I'm not going to downplay either one because they're both really traumatizing and both very messed up. But I think the distinction between being molested by your own father is your father's supposed to be your protector. And I mean, this research, it's more common than you think. And I just don't understand how a father can look at their child and decide that that's what I don't get it. I really don't. And that's why I really want to touch on this subject, is because this kind of stuff happens. And then like, the kid is quiet, and I really hope this movie reaches to people who are going through that, and they get the courage to kind of, not go out and kill them. I'm not suggesting that, but like get help. I just feel like there's just not enough things that we do for women that have been through that kind of psychological abuse, because rape is the worst thing you can do to someone. You kill somebody, it's done, it's over with. But rape, you experience that, and then you have to find a way every day to overcome what you've been through, and then you're just told in life, get over it, move on with your life. Well, I couldn't imagine.
And the effect isn't just on the victim. I think that's one of the things about Silence that I was really hardcore about doing, is showing the effect of not just the victim, but how it affects everybody around you. And in doing my research on that, it goes a lot deeper than people think, and I would think that this kind of thing. That was the thing about doing the research with the Good Girls Guide to Murder, because like I said about the story of the girl that her name was Katrina, that was being sexually abused by her dad, stuck with me, and researching and realizing how staggering the numbers are that girls have been molested by either their brother or their sibling or their father is so staggering high. It makes my stomach turn.
The scary thing is, it's not just girls. Sometimes it's also boys, and it's just like, family members doing that to their own. It's, even doing it to other people is disgusting. But I just don't understand anyone who's, having those thoughts,
Yeah, exactly. I get mad thinking about, or like right now, I'm kind of like,
but that's right. We get, I think we get angry. We get angry because we get like protective, even though there's no specific person we're protecting, So it just goes to show how, I don't know, how it's impossible to understand for people who think the way we do, which I would term as normal in that regard, to people who actually have those thoughts and do those things. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's very disgusting. So I just want everybody to know, me making this movie, how much it means to me and how important it is, because that conversation of Katrina telling me don't leave her, I'm about to be 40 this December, and I was 11 when that happened, and it's been about almost 30 years since, and I can still remember that like yesterday, and like realizing that this is something that is just an ongoing process. And I just really wanted to tell this story because of, I don't know how many people are going through that, and I just think that is just something I really want to get off my chest.
Therapeutic. You're exercising demons there. Yeah, I like it. It's
the other thing I want to ask: are you
going?
I'm sorry, Itai. Go ahead, man.
No. I finished. Go ahead.
I was just curious, though, Chase, if you're going to touch at all. It could probably be a whole nother movie, but are you going to touch at all about what? We're just talking about how sick that is. Anyway, with a family member, are you going to touch at all what brings that on with the father?
This movie touches on a lot of stuff. Like I said, this is a very complex story, and I have to say this is by far the most complex story I think up to date that I would be telling. And one thing I love about Charlie Brady being my screenwriter and us writing, he really gets the pacing and the fundamental of Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3, and telling a really strong story and what she's going through and the trauma, how you see her going from here and then where the end of the movie, where she ends up at. There's so many twists and turns in this movie and so many creepy elements in this film, but it's not like horror creepy. It's like stuff that is like, wow, on what we're going to do and what we're mapping out, how we're going to shoot this movie and how we're going to make the audience feel with this film. That's one I love collaborating with Charlie. It's like we talk every day and we're talking like hours at a time of what we want. And I mean, we really collaborate really, really well. I call him all the time. I call him my filmmate. Because you don't really meet too many people in this industry that really gets what you're trying to do, but yet they amplify that and give you more than what you're even asking for. And you're like, man, he gets what I'm trying to say and what I'm doing. And he's all about the stories that I'm wanting to tell too.
This is the second project you'll be doing together? Yes,
he almost was in Beast. He reminded me of that. It completely went over my bald head. And, you know,
it's good, you know, like when we I don't know, they call find your tribe, you know, it's like find the people that you can
definitely
continue to work with. Yeah.
Yeah. And he got so many people that he recommended on the project. I mean, Lexi Graves, he recommended her, and
is she was lead actress?
Yes, she's the lead actress. She is so
she's got a great look.
This project. She auditions for a lot of Disney, but when she read the script, she was so persistent about getting this role, and she literally memorized a 3-page scene for an audition in 20 minutes.
Wow.
I mean, and this is like 20 minutes after her. But the audition was so
well, she's
good.
an actress. It's a good skill to have.
Yeah. No.
I mean, you know, it was a really good. That's all I can say. You know, Amy Lynn Woodrow, you know, she works with Charlie a lot, and she's became our AD, and you know, she's been adopted into the family. And I love Anna Wooten. She is so like perfectionist too. Like, she's my script supervisor, and she catches everything. And you know, it's funny because she's just turned 18. She's like fresh out of, you know, school. She's going to college for film school in Western Kentucky University. And she had like these cartoon eyes, and I swear to God, she looks like a human version of Anna from Frozen. And so okay. Like, I know that was random, but like it's like, you know, she always have like this real like sad look, and I'm like, man, she would be a perfect actress. But she is so shy in front of the camera. When she did the behind the scenes of Locked In, she was just like, "Hi, I'm Anna." She was so shy, and I was like, "Really?"
It's always that. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, you want to build a good core film.
I really found that. I really found that with Locked In. And we're definitely rocking through. We're prepping this film, and it's amazing journey, because I always felt like there was missing pieces missing, but I don't feel that anymore. I feel like our crew is very much complete and in sync with each other, and everybody works so well together. Like, you know, it's just like a well-machined engine.
Now, what's your production goal for this? When are you going to start shooting this?
Originally we was going to shoot in September, but this film came much larger than I can ever anticipate. And I felt like we needed to really kind of do another draft, because I got this really amazing idea, and Charlie was like, and I'm so glad we did this third draft. It's so much better, and it's so much more satisfying of a story. And I really never filmed a movie in a winter. And I really wanted to shoot a movie in a winter, because I just feel like with this nature of this film, with everything's going on in the film, I just kind of felt like with the leaves dying and the film kind of like this because winter most of the time is like a cloudy, it's like a gray feel. It's kind of, but it kind of has that dull feeling that, and it kind of sets a tone, kind of like The Ring, where it's not a very colorful film. And that's one thing I love about David Fincher, is that his colors are very specific. He's not like a very colorful filmmaker. And that's kind of what I want to go with this film, because of the tone of the film and the nature of it. It's not going to be like a super colorful film. All of my films have been pretty colorful to some aspect. But I really wanted to be very different with this film.
It sounds like you want the outside to represent what's going on inside of the character as well.
Absolutely. Because what he's going through is very dark, and and I really want to replicate that. And talking to the Kentucky Film Commission, which I recently joined, and they're really amazing. Connie Shepard and everyone is helping with this. Branscombe Richmond. So many credits. This man was in Batman Returns. I mean, it's so insane. Like, and he's helping. Yeah, he's just helping, and just talking to him. He's so knowledgeable, and he
was my favorite character in Renegade. I used to watch that show.
Yeah, and he's so intimidating because he knows so much, but he's such a normal guy and such a really cool guy, and like that's giving me knowledge on things. And I'm like, man, I got to go back to the drawing board. So every time I talk to Branscombe and he calls me on the phone, it's no matter what I'm doing, I can be sleeping. He called me in the middle of the night. I'm just like, I got to make sure. And I have to pen and notepad, and it's, I'm just
as opposed to when we call, when you just kind of go, yeah, put that away.
When was the last time you? I always call. Ouch. The one thing I am bad at is, it's kind of, it's been a crazy year, like on how these things are changing. But I almost miss so many messages now on Facebook Messenger, because it's just like, it's so many messages that I miss, and I'm like, it's insane. I'm not really, I try to be good about those kind of things, because I'd be missing some things that are very important. And I'm like, man, this sucks. But a lot of times when you're spending 14 to 16 hour days working on the, script breakdowns, and you're talking and you're coordinating with everybody to get this, and this. And I was talking to the Southern Kentucky Film Commission. They're getting me snow machines to make the movie look, these are crazy things that I'm like asking for, and they're like, yeah, we can do that. And I'm like, really?
What else can you do?
Yeah, like it's.
Well, at least your film commission likes you. I can't get my film commission here in Colorado to even answer the fucking phone. So good for you.
You should film in Kentucky, man. They would love to have you.
Well,
they're really Branscombe Richmond is really looking to bring filmmaking back to Kentucky, and
time to set up that meeting.
Yeah, I would definitely put you in touch with Connie Shepard. She is such an amazing lady, and I would definitely be able to help you a lot more than I would be able to being in Kentucky and you being in Utah. But I hate that you feel that way. But out of the Southern Film Commission,
Colorado, who's in Utah?
You have Colorado. You have 6 counties. You have 6 counties to shoot in that they will help you rearrange it and everything that you want. And I would definitely vouch for you that you are a great guy.
I'll hit up Connie. I'm writing things down here. So, all right. So remind me again when you're going to shoot Good Girl's Guide to Murder then?
January 2023.
Okay. So you're going in January on that one. And then when is Locked In supposed to come out?
Well, I don't have a release date yet, but the film will be ready to view and start being ready to submit by August. Rocky Gray right now is scoring the film, and he is making some amazing tracks, and we're just doing some touch-ups here and there and some ADR, and I'm really making sure that everything is just so much more in tuned. like I said, I'm very, very satisfied with this project. Everything looked really magnificent with this project, and I just, I'm taking my time with it. I know it's almost been a year, but I'm really taking my time with everything.
And that's okay, because you don't have a studio breathing down your neck telling you to hurry up and get it out by Christmas or get it out by Halloween or anything like that. So, that's the beauty of this, that we get to just get our movie done the way we want it done,
That's why I can never be Hollywood. I don't want to be a factory filmmaker. I want to, if I lose that passion for making a movie, I don't see the point of doing it. And that to me is just, sometimes I feel like Hollywood it's so much more business and corporate, and it just sucks the soul out of filmmaking.
It sucks the fucking life out of you. Okay, take it from someone who's worked in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I did it for 5.5 years. It literally, it'll suck the life out of you. It'll suck your morality. It'll suck everything out of your existence to want, unless that is something, because I kind of feel like the three of us are built from the same mold, that we don't
from the same cloth.
We don't play well with others.
It's not that I don't like to. I don't like being compromised of my integrity of who I am. I recently dealt with something like that with a filmmaker that tried to intimidate me to do what they were like, talking this game of I'm this, and this, and you need to listen to me, and I'm just like, I don't care who you are.
No,
I was thinking that sounds like me.
No, Ty, you're not like joking. That. I feel like Ty, you were there for me in a very dark period, and I can honestly say, if it was not for you, Ty, I don't think I would be back in this industry. You kept in touch with me, and you kept giving me stories that were relatable, and you helped me find that spark back to get back where I was. I had a very dark 2019, 2020, and you stood by my side and was like, I believe in you, and Chase, you need to get your ass back. We all have hard times, but this is what you meant to do. So you doing that, I would never forget, because that meant a lot to me.
Appreciate it.
That was I don't normally go dark like that, but I went through a lot.
You went stupid dark on at that point, because it was like all of a sudden you were gone, and I was like,
"Where's Chase?"
Okay, yeah, it was weird, because and we don't have to get into the reason, but it was just kind of one of those things that I would talk to you at least once or twice a week, just BS and talk, and then all of a sudden it was just like you were like Kaiser Soze. You were gone. You were gone.
It's Chaser Soze.
Chaser Soze.
And it was just so much that happened in that year or two to just piled and piled and piled.
Yeah.
And it's just I've never been depressed before, because after being through that, I'd never been through depression. Like, to the point I had to go see somebody, I had to get out of that mold, and that's just a place I'd never want to be at again. Losing my whole identity and really losing a lot that I lost on Facebook.
I think you will be. You know what I mean? I think we all will be in that place again. We just need to handle it differently the next time, because it's happened to all of us. And it's happening to all of us, because being an artist and also being an indie creator, it's just such an up and down thing, 1 year you're on top of the world, the next one you are in filmmaking hell. What's happening. I have to constantly every day remind myself, about like Revelation is now 3 years delayed. And I have to remind myself, it's like, it's not the end of the world. It's a movie. I'll get to it when I'm able to, with everything that's going on in the world. And if I can't do it now, I'll just do other things while, I wait. And I kind of have to, maybe doing what I did for you, Chase, I have to do it for myself, kind of remind myself, of who I am and how much I love doing this, which is really all I did with you. I just reminded you, man, do you love filmmaking? Do you love doing this? Then keep doing it. Don't give a shit about what other people think. Do it for you. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The
beautiful thing is that with you, it felt like a rebirth. You know what I mean? Like when you started with Locked In, because this followed on for like the delayed release of Beasts.
Mm-hmm.
And then you started working on Locked In and everything was going so well, and Samantha getting pregnant and, another child born. And it's like, it's such a rebirth into filmmaking. So that was just great story,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know what that's like too, because back in, I can't give
last week, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, there was that. No, but when I did Liar, a few years back,
that's like 2016, I want to say.
No,
earlier. You're right.
Yeah, it was before that, but I totally get what you're talking about on that front, Chase. It was like I had this movie, we did it, and I had new actors, and and a lot of times you get people that are new to the business, don't understand the business, and don't like it when you have to tell them the business things, because they think that they know, or all of a sudden now, because they've done one movie, they think they know everything. And
and it's, I just wish that more people learn to stay in their lanes and things,
and not just learn to stay in their lanes, but learn the fucking business. It's even in indie, there are rules and there are ways of doing things, and when you get people that don't, when you tell them, okay, if somebody was going to give us $150,000 to go make the feature film version of Liar. It was one of the actors' brothers. And then when I started explaining to the actors how things are going to have to work, because, it's one thing if you make a movie on $800, it's another thing if somebody gives you $150,000, that everything changes at that point. How every pre-production is done, how everything is done. I mean, and this.
Absolutely.
And they were, one of the actors' wives was like, okay, well, so we got to make sure that my husband, the actor, gets paid exactly what he's going to be missing from work on the, all of the days that he's going to be on the shoot. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. We figure out a day rate. Everybody gets paid a day rate. And then all of a sudden it was like, once you started hitting everybody, and all the actors had this problem with the exception of two of them. And the two that didn't have any issues were the two that already knew the business. The rest of them decided that I was Satan. They screwed it up bad enough and bad talked me bad enough that we lost the $150,000 because
the investor pulled it.
Because the investor was the actor's wife's brother. Now all of a sudden, when he said he was going to give us the money, when I had, when you got to let people know how things are going to go, and they didn't like that. And so they made sure that we lost the money. Then they got on Facebook and just eviscerated me and told me what a horrible person I was, and that I was.
Yeah, I've been, and it's crazy because when you tell people, like you say, when you are straight up, a lot of people will try to push you or try to walk on you, and you got to be the producer. You got to be the guy who's like, look, this.
Well, and so at that point, I mean, it got so bad that I had to shut my Facebook page down completely. And I was dark for a year.
I would be too if I missed out on 100 and something thousand over something.
Well, actually, it was the motherfuckers that wouldn't stop talking shit about me.
Yeah.
You know, but the problem with those kind of people too, when you start yapping your mouth, just a little word of advice to any actors out there or producers or directors that decide to run around and smack talk people that they've worked with when you've had a bad time with them, or if you didn't like what they said, just know that shit comes back on you, because then
a lot more about you
don't realize is they're setting themselves up for people not wanting to work with you. It's like, oh, I'm not going to work with them, man. They're like smack talking Todd Braley, and you know, don't shut up about it and don't leave it alone. So, you know, they're doing
that's the story of our life that me and Sam deal with all the time, of people not being happy, or if you don't choose them for some reason or whatever. It's a lot of times, a lot of people don't understand the business, and they think Facebook is blasting somebody. They think it's going to make the other person look worse, but really, in all reality, anybody who really blasts people on Facebook, regardless of what it is, or are too political or anything like that, I always take a step back and realize, do I really want to take a chance on booking this person? Because I mean, at the end of the day, I really want to focus on the work.
Exactly. I don't give a shit what your belief system is. We've got a movie to make.
Right, that's what I care about.
And that's to me, that's the thing. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah, we are in the entertainment business to entertain, and I think we're at a point where I think people feel like that they feel like they have the moral high ground to tell somebody how to think and how to feel and what's right and what's not. It's not really. People, when they watch a movie, they don't want to think about those kind of things.
They want to escape. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of our conversation here with Mr. Chase Dudley. Chase, if people want to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
I am mostly on Facebook and email. I check my email, and actually Sam my wife checks my
I'm gonna say, no, you don't not check your
I lied.
Email,
and she was
funny.
over here like this.
That I believe.
You check his Facebook.
I check my Facebook. She checks the emails. But
All right. Okay. So if you want to get a hold of Chase, email Samantha.
Email Samantha. Yeah, that's right.
Email Samantha.
Right.
She tells me things much quicker than me, because like she was the one who ran upstairs and was like, "Chase, you're being inducted to the Kentucky Motion Picture Hall of Fame." And I'm like, "Get the hell out of here, honey! That's a joke. It's not real." And then, sure enough,
If you would answer your email.
I am
right,
so
Samantha?
bad about checking my
Answer your email.
Yeah, because like I mean that you guys I got a message from you and Itai. Check your email.
All right.
So ask me about that.
All right, Itai.
What is he talking about? Pull it up, fix it.
And Itai, if people want to get a hold of us, how do they do that?
As always, we are on Facebook, the Straight Shooter Show, on obviously YouTube channel. We are on Instagram, which Todd is taking care of, and also you can find both Todd and I on myindieproductions.com. MyIndie Productions on Facebook. You can contact us. And what's that?
And Chase is on in MyIndie Productions.
That's true. Chase is also on MyIndie Productions. Absolutely.
I'm like, don't forget me. Come on, it's
yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Gentlemen,
we have a lot in common. We're both bald.
True,
right.
true.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got to do this before the phone dies. So thanks for watching this episode of The Straight Shooters. Make sure you tell everybody about the show. Tell your moms, your dads, your aunts, your uncles, your dogs, your cats. anybody that you can talk to have check out.
Tell your wife, tell your kids, tell everybody.
Yep. Like, share, subscribe, comment. We'll see you next time on the Straight Shooter Show. Thanks again, Chase, for hanging out.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Chase.
Hey, thanks, guys. Hey, you guys are awesome, man. Thank you.